All right. Well, hey, Coaches Up for Change. It is Monday. It is July 24th. It is convention week. We are so excited for everyone that we are going to see in person at convention. Safe travels to you guys that are coming in from out of state. We've got so much fun that's going to happen in learning. And just wanted to make sure before we jump into our topic tonight that Lauren's going to lead for us, that you know about the coach business call happening right after this. 8 o'clock, we're going to finish on time. This is about the release of the Optavia Active, which these are the new products. And you guys, orders were flying in like crazy. They opened it up on the coach website. Many of you guys have ordered already, but others are asking questions. So just want to make sure you are in the know for that. And as we are wrapping up July, it is July 24th. We've got one solid week before the end of the month. Meg always says 25% of the month is left. So lots of time to do all your follow-ups and all your things before convention. So we finish the month strong, helping a lot of people. And I don't want to forget to thank the coaches that have been sharing. I don't know if you guys have been watching the Fit and Free, but we've got a lot of different coaches that are participating in the post. There's been a great variety, you know, many hands make light work, but big shout out to our team that is just like all collaborating together.
Whoops, looks like Dee is frozen. So I will pass the baton back to her in a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and take over for a little bit. So really excited about this topic tonight, and honestly just love seeing all of you and your faces, and excited to see many of you in person this weekend. And just know if you aren't able to come, you will be missed and you will still be there in spirit. And so excited about this topic tonight because I've personally been coaching for a little bit over 5 years. And in that time, in my own life and in my business, it has not been this like upward projection the entire time. It's been like this. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that in your business, in your life. And I know many of us are experiencing just some different challenges or differences in our business than maybe we have before. And so I think when we hit those challenges, something that I know for myself, I have to get back to is having a creative and a growth mindset. And I'm sure you guys have seen the images of a fixed mindset, which can often be what we can call a scarcity mindset of, oh, there's not enough people, there's not enough, people are struggling financially, they can't do the program, like just feeling stuck where you are. And instead being able to have, I love the image I chose because you guys know I love flowers. So the image that I chose for the flyer for tonight was this, person's head with all these flowers growing out, right? And I like to think of it too. I know we have times in our lives and often in our businesses where we might be laying seeds. It might look a little bit different. We might be laying seeds, we might be watering the seeds, and it might not be a season of complete flourishing, at least what the eye can see, but there's growth happening under the surface. And often it's those seasons of growth that are the most powerful when you don't even see it. And so I picked a couple people tonight to share, and I'm really excited to hear from them, but wanted to just start off with a few things that have really helped me through those seasons where I didn't see the growth. I would check Optavia Connect and see, a downward. And honestly, this has been one of those seasons for me. And so, so the ebbs and flows, and just know, and many of you have experienced this, not just in your business, but in other places in your life, that, in every business, in every pursuit, there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be mountaintops. There's going to be valleys. And as many of us know, it helps us to appreciate the mountaintops and the good more when we have to kind of trudge through the harder times. So And what I've learned through challenges is that when we go through those hard times, when we go through the challenges, we have to be willing to shift. We have to be willing sometimes to do things maybe a little bit differently than we have in the past. Get creative, start to think outside of the box, maybe think differently, strategize a little bit differently. And another thing that I've learned is that what we focus on will grow. So if we're focusing on the challenges, if we're focusing on the hardships, or if we're focusing on what's hard, we're going to see more of that. Whereas if shifting that perspective to, and I'd love to see in the chat, what do you want to focus on in your life, in your business? What are the things that help you to keep that growth mindset, to keep that creative mindset in your business and in your life? Would love to see that. People, Meg Johnson, so good at that. Switching the perspective. Some words that came to my mind. Creative gifts can cultivate growth. I love that, Elizabeth. Peace, balance, love, being open to new ideas, so important. And some words that I thought of: having fun, love, focusing on love. The times, I know it's so easy. And if you're not muted, if you don't mind muting yourself. So the times that I know when things get hard, it's easy to become introspective. It's easy to get focused on ourselves, focus on our own business, focus on what's going hard. And when we can instead shift that perspective to who can I show up for today? Who might need some encouragement? Who can I love? Who can I put a smile? Whose face can I put a smile on that maybe is in a hard season too? And you guys I love this chat, focusing on joy, focusing on gratitude. Beth, that's so important. I love starting my day with a gratitude journal of what are the 3 things I'm most grateful for, what were the best parts of yesterday and what am I most excited about for today. Those are 3 questions I love to start my day with, because it helps me to decide what I'm going to focus on and make that choice. I wrote creative ideas, community, abundance. And also super important to keep the vision, to keep focused on what it is that you want, not what you don't want, but what is it that you really want. And one very practical thing that's been really helpful for me, let's see if I can pull this up for y'all real quick, and something that I've chatted about with a lot of my coaches, is this tool. Many of you have probably used it. I'll pop it in the chat, but it's a structural tension chart. And what it does is you can focus on one thing, one goal, one vision. And then you want to start with your current reality. So at the bottom, where are you at currently? This could be where you're at in your business. This could be how many clients you're currently supporting, numbers, whatever you want it to be. And then the goal and the vision. What do you really want in your business? What do you really want? Could be something even financial that maybe you're working towards. And then the secondary choices. So this is that creative space. And what I always recommend is set a timer for 20 minutes on your phone, or ask Alexa to set a timer. That's what we do right now with potty training. And just let your mind flow. Let your mind flow. It might be crazy ideas, might be people's names, might be, just different things that you want, ways you want to get connected into the community, to meet new people, things that you really enjoy that are fun, just coming up with some new and fresh ideas. And then being able to look at this list. And I like, in this little spot right here where these little boxes are, I like to number those. You can either use it as check marks, or you can say, this is what I'm going to do first, this is what I'm going to do second, that kind of a thing. And this is great to focus on in maybe one area of your business, whether it's, I would love to bring on some more coaches, or I'd love to have a higher frontline volume or helping more clients. So anyway, I can pop that in the chat real quick, but that was just something really practical that I wanted to share with you guys. And let's see. I'm not very good at multitasking sometimes. I'll pop that in the chat in just a minute. But setting the timer, and then also asking yourself some questions to help with that shift. So asking yourself, okay, how could this be for me? What can I do right now? What is going well? Because there's always going to be something that you're doing well. And I love to ask, that's the first question I always ask my clients every week. What are we celebrating? What are you proud of? And sometimes we can forget to do that with ourselves. So, and then what's my next baby step? So it could be on that structural tension chart. It could just be asking yourself, what's the next thing? Because the overwhelmed mind will do nothing. So if we have a lot of ideas, a lot of all this stuff, and we haven't decided what's our next step, we're going to feel overwhelmed and it's going to halt what we're going to do. So want to pass this over to Jessica Pope. She is incredible, and she's definitely had some ups and downs in her life and her business. She's a warrior. She's fought through a lot of things. And she is someone who just stays consistent and persistent and shows up even in the hard. So would love, Jess, for you to take it away. And also she's the queen of social media. So she might pop in there a few social media tips for us.
Oh my goodness, you're too gracious with your words there, Lauren. I just carry you in my back pocket all the time. Okay, so when she first asked me to speak about this, the first thing, like whenever I went to think about like what am I going to say and how am I, grit versus grind was the first thing that came to mind, because that was all in the perspective of how to be persistent and how to be consistent in what we do. Because tell you what, the last 3 years, just the business alone has come with a lot of heartbreak and heartache and growing but to be able to still be here 3 years later with this roller coaster that we experience is so rewarding, for the fact that grit is what you hold on to and grit is what gets you through. It's not the grind. The grind is good temporarily and it's productive. But grind is not meant to be what you're being consistent with. It's the grit that you have, not the grind. A lot of times in my business, especially in the beginning, I was really focused on the grind and working it out and doing all the things. And, but then you realize real quick that that's not what's going to continue helping yourself, helping others, having your heart be open to more people. It's the grit. And that's what I can speak on the most when it comes to being consistent. And with being consistent, let's see. I know that a lot changes with our business and with our personal life. And sometimes we can get discouraged with both, one or the other. And sometimes it takes stepping back and finding what is going to give me a new, fresh perspective, what's going to give me a new joy, and making up your mind. A lot of times it's just making up your mind too, like what you want and going after it. And it doesn't have to look the same, it doesn't have to look the same all the time. And finding new ways to bring that fresh joy. So Lauren, she loves flowers, and like the flower stuff has just blossomed into a new way to meet people and bring her more joy and things. For me, I'm excited because I just got accepted. I accepted a position at my kid's new school. I'm going to be a parapro. So that's given me a new joy and a new way of bringing in new people and being able to be a light to new people. And it helped me to already have more creativity. But the thing I look back at now that I have this, I look back at the last really year where my business has been very rocky. If I'd given up when things were looking really scary, like when I was just like, oh, this is nowhere near what I wanted. If I'd given up then, I just said, forget it. I'm not meant for this. I'm done. I wouldn't be here for the fresh new perspective and joy that I have, with what's coming. So, I'm so thankful for that grit that continues to help me. And we all have that grit. It's just a choice. So thinking outside the box, because things are changing. I have not given up on social media. I know it's the way that a lot of us grew our business at one point. It's not going to be the only way we grow our business anymore. So I still utilize social media for it though. So a little bit of tips on how I do that when it comes to the shifts with the business and social media and how that's looking just different than it did 3 years ago. One thing that I find that is still very relevant when it comes to social media is talking with my clients and still encouraging them to live their journey out loud and share. I'm not as, I don't know, like controlling is probably, I don't know if there's a better word, but I'm not like controlling over what they say. I've just kind of let that, I mean, I'm here to, I always offer my guidance, but before if they like mention the word Optavia, I'm like, "Oh," I'm like on them, but I mean, I talked to them about it beforehand, and if they did, they did, and I just let it go. So just encouraging them to share their journey out loud and tag me. And sometimes I've seen clients post and then not tag me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that post. Would you mind tagging me in it? And they're always happy to tag. So that has been one of the most relevant, there's still, relevant aspects with social media and directly growing your business that I've personally experienced. And that can look different. Some people share pictures if they're comfortable with that. But most of them are sharing just words, just what they're experiencing. And that is totally fine. A lot of us will get those texts like, oh my goodness, I woke up this morning and this is how I feel. This is so great. I'm like, oh my word, who do you think in your life needs to hear that they have that same hope, So I just kind of try to keep an eye and ear out for those moments where I can help them grab it and take it to social media. So it's really not me sharing it. It's them sharing it, has been the best thing I've seen so far with that. Because that opens up a whole new world of being able to work the post as far as like reaching out to the people that are commenting, messaging the people that are commenting, because it's not icky because they've already asked about it, and they're curious, so it's not like reaching out to random people. And then another thing is just kind of being creative in ways of like bringing your real life into social media with sharing things. Like for instance, they're working on like introducing people like new teachers and staff to on the school's page. So they asked me for a bio and to describe myself. So of course I put in there that I am a health coach and put some things up there. I'm going to screenshot when they post that. I'm going to screenshot that and put that on my page. That's just, just like new reminders and ways of just like getting it out there and like making all of our worlds collide, because that's just the natural way of keeping our business alive and exciting and joy, because it's not just Optavia, it's all the things together. That's what I got.
Jess, thank you. That was so good. And if you guys aren't following Jess on Instagram, and I think it's like The Real Housewife of, what did you change?
I changed it. It was The Real Healthwife of Buford, but I changed it like a year or two ago. It's Jessica Pope, health coach or something like that.
Okay. Well, if you're not following her yet on Instagram, you should, and Facebook, because she does such a beautiful job of interweaving her family. And you guys, her family is hilarious. She has 1,000 children, but integrating her and one of my grandbaby guinea pigs. But anyway, interweaving her family and the things that make her into her social media as well. And that is such a beautiful way of establishing trust with people, because if you're following somebody and you feel like you really know them through social media, you're more likely to reach out, you're more likely to want to connect versus just like an exterior shell. So super important. And Jess, it's been so fun to see your clients share, to see some of them obviously become coaches, and just to see the ripple effect. It's been super cool. And I know there's been a couple days recently, I hope you don't mind me sharing this, where, she's having a really hard day and was feeling really defeated. And then I remember just maybe a month ago, she messaged me later and she goes, look what my client posted, and look at this, like it's just that reinvigorating, right? Of, oh, we are making a difference. This is, something to invest my time in. So anyway, and wanted to really quickly, and then I'm going to pass the baton over to Carolyn, but I wanted to show this image because as you were talking, Jess, it just got me thinking. So I love this image. So this guy, he's grinding, right? Like he's like going to town, probably not doing it the most efficient way. And then this guy, he's almost there, like, right? Like he's right through at the cusp of breakthrough. It probably would just take one more hammering or shoveling to get to where he wants to be. And he gave up, and I love this quote from Billy Cox. It says, life's greatest difficulties always happen right before life's greatest breakthroughs. And so I believe that we are on the cusp of breakthrough in our lives and our businesses if we just can hang on and keep doing the things, right? So anyway, wanted to next pass over to Carolyn. Carolyn is incredible. She is so much fun. She is amazing at everything that she touches. And she is so great at networking and connecting and finding ways outside of social media to make a huge impact. And so really excited for her to share just some innovative, creative things. And she's also the queen of like traveling all over the world and running her business and integrating into her life. So take it away, Carolyn.
Okay. Thanks, Lauren.
Yeah.
And as Lauren loves her flowers, I love to garden. So we have a lot in common that way. And so the first analogy I want to give you about my business, especially in hard times when things are going up and down, I equate my business with like a pot of, let's say, a plant. If you have a plant in a small planter, it's going to thrive, but it's really not going to grow and expand. If you take that same plant, put it in a bigger pot with some fertilizer, lots of water, some sun, it's going to grow and expand. I've seen it with my plants. And I equate that to my business. Like we can plug away at our business, do a social media post, talk to our friends, whatever, and you can plod along fine and even succeed. But if you have a bigger growth mindset in your business and take some chances, you never know, things could grow. And so Lauren asked me just to give a few examples of some things I've done this year that have kind of worked and grown my business. And I feel like the most important thing for me is to have fun. You will reflect desperation or, salesy if you're not having fun. So what I believe is if you're going out and trying to meet new people and to grow, do what intrinsically makes you happy. And I can see it when Jessica was talking about being a paraprofessional at school. I can see it in Lauren when she's talking about her flowers. That's intrinsic happiness. And with that, they're going to grow and meet new people and really expand their reach because they're authentically reaching people on another level than just, health coaching, although we can intertwine health coaching. So I asked myself, what would I do to make myself happy without expecting anything in return? So when I'm doing new ventures and I'm trying new things, I do it out of, I want to have fun. And guess what? The icing on the cake will be, maybe I'll meet new people, maybe I'll grow my business, and it has worked. I'll give you 5 examples quickly. I love to volunteer and I love a lot of the philanthropic work I'm involved in. And so an example, 2 months ago, I could have spent an hour on social media, which I probably would do because I'm not really, totally comfortable with it all the time. But I actually went to a volunteer meeting about a community fund that I am on the board of. In 1 hour, they said, oh, we're having a road race. We need volunteers. And we were talking about sponsorships. And I said, oh, I'll sponsor it. And it blossomed into a conversation. What do you do? I health coach. At the end of that hour meeting, I had 3 new clients. I mean, this doesn't happen all the time. I'm just saying this is one specific example. And 2 other people who are curious. So just by engaging with people one-on-one, in a group setting in person, it really expanded my reach, which was nice. And I did volunteer and I was a sponsor for that road race. And I was a sponsor for a few other events this year. And I get my logo and my name and my Instagram account on the t-shirts, on the social media, on signage. And I use all that in my social media to show I'm excited about the Turkey Trot and I'm one of the sponsors. And every single time I've sponsored, I've gotten new clients. It could have just been one, but who cares? I was going to do it anyway. And I love to volunteer and give money to, the food pantry or the educational fund in our town. I love to cook and I love to garden, as I said before. I just hosted a cooking class and I had a bunch of people come, and I made all lean and green food, and it was a beautiful space. You can check it out on my, I have an Instagram account, Carolyn Twitch, and I posted all the recipes that I did for the cooking class. And I love to cook, and I share my recipes with my clients all the time. It's kind of like my thing. And so I ended up just posting my recipes on my Instagram account and my Facebook page. And I've gotten a lot of response from that, people asking questions, about the recipe. I also posted 12 clean ingredients to keep in your pantry. It just opened up conversations, and I could see when people responded, I got back in touch with them personally to make sure they didn't have any questions about the recipes or anything like that. I love to work out. And so I have partnered with a couple, the Bar Method and another Pilates studio in our town, with their owners, to host Optavia events there. So although people are healthy and working out, they may not know about healthy eating. And so I found it's a new way to open up and meet people that are healthy, just want to learn more about healthy eating. So I'm going to host events at the Pilates studio and the Bar Method studio. So again, just going beyond social media. Not that I don't like social media. I do use social media, and I try to post stories every day. But I just like to incorporate other, flexible ideas in addition to just social media. And I like to just put it out there. I'm not, looking for, I don't walk into the tennis court, say I'm a health coach, whatever, but I do bring it up in conversation very easily with people. And it's amazing. People really are curious. They may not want to be doing the program, but maybe they have a cousin or an aunt or an uncle. So those are kind of my creative ways besides social media that I've, grown my business. And the other thing that Lauren asked me to talk about was how I integrate the business into life every day. I'm rarely at my computer. I have to try really hard to be at my computer. I'm here, there, and everywhere. So 3 tips I do a lot of my stuff, a lot of my business on my phone. So if I know I'm going to be out of town, I was on vacation last week, I just got back last night, I load in my notes. I have information about all my clients in my notes. And so yesterday, I told Lauren I was on a boat, and I texted my clients to set up meetings for today because I was at my desk all day today. And so they don't know I'm on a boat. They don't know I'm hiking, just to keep in touch with everybody on a regular basis, but then keep it organized in your phone. So now I did my calls and my Zooms today, but I organized it, off base, and nobody knew where I was. And I try to have a basic schedule every week. I try to commit to Mondays always in my office, and then usually Thursdays, but I'll be flexible depending, on what's going on. And I try to schedule all my calls like on Monday. I just power through and see how far I can get with my clients. The other thing when I'm on the road a lot is I respond quickly to my clients. I don't necessarily solve their question. And by that, I mean, if Lauren texted me, I'll say, I got your text, I'll get back to you tomorrow, or I'll got your text, let me get the information and I'll be back in touch with you. That way they know I'm responding right away. I may be on, again, I'll use the analogy of the boat. I may be on a boat. I'm not going to really respond and spend time away from my family, but I will get back to them. And I keep a running list on my phone of the to-dos of when I'm going to get in touch with people. So that helps me, stay integrated and stay on the road, but still keep my business rolling, even if I'm not at my desk all the time. So hope that's helpful.
That was so helpful. And Meg put in the chat, she'd love to know what you say when you're on the tennis court. I know you have like a elevator speech.
Oh, I do an elevator pitch. Yeah, I do an elevator pitch. So I have, which I recommend to anybody, no matter where you're talking to people. But if you have under 1 minute to explain what you do as a health coach, but I would never do a health assessment on the side of the tennis court, or I always set that up and respect their time and respect the process of really filling out a health assessment to really get to know people, because it's really, you can't have a second chance to make a first impression. So, but I do recommend, just if people ask you on the fly, oh, what do you do? Have it prepared and practice it with, a friend or a partner. So when you are asked that question, you're ready to go and you have a very succinct message about what you're doing. It's actually really helpful in networking. If you're at a networking event. The last thing I'll say is that these things I've done have blossomed into, I'm in 3 different women entrepreneur groups. No offense to men, but we, so I'm in 3 different networking groups for entrepreneurs, and it really has helped me just, and I use that elevator pitch very frequently with that, and it just helps spread the word about health coaching and healthy eating and healthy habits. And the icing on the cake is Optavia. So it's, you know, takes pressure off people, but it's amazing how curious people are, you know, once you start talking about it.
Thanks so much, Carolyn.
You got it.
And I have to say really quick, there were things that she was scared of to do. So just know she's done a lot of things, but we've had many conversations where she was like, I'm freaking out about this. And I just said, hey, you know, she does it scared. She does it scared. So Dee, I know you got interrupted earlier, and I know Meg just put the link for the next call, but anything you wanted to say in closing? Is Dee back?
Great call. No, we're good. Carolyn, maybe you can message me your elevator pitch, and I will put it when I share the recording for
Yep,
this. People
sure
are
thing,
asking for
sure
those
thing.
exact words. So
Yep.
this was phenomenal. Thank you so much. Great turnout tonight, and see you over on the coach call. Thank you, Lauren,
Thanks, guys.
Jess,
Thanks,
Carolyn. Great job.